All right, so I'm interviewing Jeff Ray today. Pleasure to have you on, Jeff.
Likewise, good to be here.
Awesome to be able to interview you. You've been massively successful since starting the program, and it's kind of been a task of mine to interview you finally to talk about it and all that. So let's get into it. So
All right.
you in the program, couple months and whatnot. You've been doing your thing. You dove right in. And what were you doing like right before the program, and what are you doing
So,
right now?
so right before I decided to join the program, I was in the automotive industry. I was an engineering manager. Before that, I was just in different manufacturing industries, different positions, different hiring manager roles. I worked with different recruiters, to get jobs and also to get people to work for me. And then I started seeing different recruiters bring candidates to me as a hiring manager, and I saw how much they were starting to charge. And I was like, hey, wait a second.
Wait a minute
Uh,
here. Am I on the
there
wrong
might be
side of
something
this?
here for me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
absolutely.
so what I'm currently doing is my 9 to 5 is I'm a plant manager in a manufacturing facility.
Mm,
Um, this has lent itself really well the way the program's set up, the way the tools are set up, the automation that's set up to where it doesn't interfere with my job at all. I'm able to fulfill all of my duties and then some above and beyond just what the my employer is paying me to do. um, I can do stuff on my lunch break, after hours. The majority of my clients right now are on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, so it works out.
basically perfect. Yeah. So that segued right into my next question, which is pretty much like, okay, you have a 9 to 5 job, and you've also managed to be really successful through the program in recruiting. So um, this is a thing, like
Yeah,
a lot of people watching, when I interview someone, right, they're always curious, was they're working a 9 to 5 job, how did they put that stuff in there, how did they do recruiting while they were working? Well, this is how, right?
yeah.
So how many contracts were you able to secure, contracts, clients, etc., were you able to secure, like, since joining the program?
Since joining the program, it's uh, been about 5 or 10 different clients.
Awesome.
Um, Actively, I have about 5 clients.
Okay.
Some I've kind of sifted through and realized they were not the best deal. So
Right.
some one of the best parts of the program is just the sheer mass at which you can try to find people.
Mm,
Um, and so, that's actually one of the things that pushes people to join the program. You don't want to be stuck with just one boss the rest of your life. Having multiple clients, if you have a client that you don't like, they're just real sour, spend a little bit more time marketing, get rid of them.
yep.
So I've sifted through quite a few clients already. It was a little bit for me. It was slow going. It was a couple of weeks for some of my bigger clients to finally sign the contracts, making sure it was all buttoned up and squared away. But
Sure.
yeah, it only took a few weeks of really heavily hitting the emails, hitting
Yep.
the different marketing methods.
To get those clients. And that's a sizable amount of clients too, because some of those clients were actually volume clients that gave you an array of positions, which is like,
Oh yeah.
kind of the big catch.
So a lot of them still have more positions that once I fill these, they have more for me.
Right.
So right now, actively, what I'm filling between what my clients, and I might be jumping ahead of myself, what
Okay, go
my
ahead.
clients are giving me, and then what some of my partners are splitting with me. I have over $300,000 of business in the pipeline,
And that's just for
and that's
Q1
just my first
efforts.
quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the first quarter, 300K pipeline. Amazing.
Yeah.
So on revenue collected, what's revenue collected look like since, I guess, the inception of the program?
It's only been 13,000 of collected so
Mhm.
far, but I'm about to send out some more invoices, and I have majority of my positions have really good candidates placed in there. They're just going through the hiring process,
Sure.
going through the offer process at the tail end of it. So it's
Beautiful.
about to hit hard right now.
Beautiful. So the pipeline of revenue collected is probably a lot larger than that 13K. So it's looking really good.
Yes, it's definitely gonna be looking pretty nice here in the next few weeks.
Solid. I love it. And that's just Q1
Yes.
efforts. That's amazing. So
And that's running a hectic plant that takes a lot of my energy away, a lot of my emotional capital, um, and being able to do all of this on top of it. It's definitely not easy,
sure.
but it's worth it. And if you follow the principles in the program to the T, I mean, I'm seeing the success.
And you're a husband and you're a dad and
Mhm.
all of that too, like on top of your
I'm
job, right?
active in my church and have a lot of responsibilities there.
Mm,
So I've tried all kinds of other different businesses to try to break out on my own and do this and do that, have different backup plans, but they
mm,
always took up way too much of my time to be fruitful, or there were too many steep learning curves to get past. I'm a certified Lean Six Sigma black belt. Um, I tried different consulting things. Getting the clients for it just never panned out. This has been
right.
the right thing. It's taken a lot of my different professional background skills that I've had, and then my interviewing skills, interviewing the candidates myself as a hiring manager, just and the flexibility of it, all of it's just poured into like the perfect opportunity for me.
I love that. I love it. And so this is like the thing that you can see yourself building, scaling long term, that's going to be your obviously six figure, multi six figure and seven figure
Yeah.
business, right?
That's my goal is the first fiscal year is to make 1 million. And
Mhm.
we're on track to do that.
Love that. Love that. Perfect. So the question I ask everyone pretty much, what is it that you would tell someone that is looking to get into recruitment, looking to be a recruiter, looking to start the journey? They're sitting on the fence. They're like, yeah, I watch these interviews and I'm in recruiter empire and all that, but why should I get into recruiting?
It's rewarding. You meet all different walks of life, meet all different types of people, um, and the payout is huge. You set your own schedule. You can do marketing till wee hours of the night, wee hours of the morning, even. Um, put on some good music in the background. Just go through different marketing activities and have all of those things go out the next day. Um, you can, if you want to only work certain hours, you only market a certain time zones in the country. So for me, it's the payout for sure, the
Mm,
flexibility. Um, if I were to do this full time, I could do it from anywhere in the world where I have an internet connection.
right.
And that's huge for me, being a dad, being a husband. My wife is currently working from home. I envy that so much. Be
Right.
able to be with my kid, be with my wife. So yeah, those are the biggest things for why I would do it.
I love it. Yeah, putting it all together. I mean, that's what it is. Like, I love being able to dispel the concept that like, hey, I'm not in it for the money. Of course, you're in it for the money. Why would you be doing it, right?
Right.
It's
That's
right.
the
So
bottom line.
it's the bottom line. It's incredibly lucrative, and then on top of that, it's we can talk about all kinds of businesses for days and days and days, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, uh, this gives us flexibility, freedom, and all the other things you mentioned, right? About being able to see your family more and all the things that ancillary come with that, which
Yep.
is great stuff.
So I actually had one last thing. If there's
Yeah.
someone that's on the fence about whether to invest in the program, if you're going to start a business and you're not serious enough to invest in yourself, um, even go into debt to do it. Most small businesses do go into debt to start. I did to do this, and it's with the first placement. I've already, more than doubled all of my investment
Mm.
just with the first placement.
Yep.
Um, God, I actually was starting to look at it back in June of last year, and I just kicked around the idea. When I was like, oh, it's going to cost money, I wasn't investing in myself. I wasn't,
Mm.
I didn't have faith in myself that I could make it happen. In that course, I actually looked at buying a business that was already existing for $250,000. And I looked at the financials and the cash flow through it and picked it apart. And I realized, man, this is, the cash flow of this isn't going to work out probably. Then I looked at the fees for this program and then the initial investment to do that. And then the cash flow for this. I was like, this is a no brainer. If I was
Mm.
thinking about starting a business, doing something else versus doing this, like, okay, you put it in that perspective, it pays for itself way, way more than you could ever expect.
Right. Way over. Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that. And I appreciate you mentioning that. Because I think most often it's a matter of people not believing in themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not believing that they can invest in themselves, and ultimately the ROI on that is sometimes intangible, but I mean, if you put it in monetary terms, it's 10x, 100x,
Oh
you know what
yeah.
I mean? So
For me, it's gonna be definitely uh 100x easy
100x. Yeah,
halfway through the year.
halfway through the
Um,
year, exactly. Yeah, I love
so
that.
yeah, if you're not gonna take yourself seriously enough to just invest that little bit into the program, then you might as well not start.
It's
Um,
true.
the things that I learned just from the first few modules paid for themselves. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many mistakes I was going to make. Um, I would be light years behind where I am if I hadn't invested.
Right. And the time that you said, you mentioned kicking it around, thinking about it, looking into franchise
I
stuff,
wasted so much time.
opportunity cost, right?
Yeah,
Right. So if that was 6 months of time, you said June. So I'm just doing rough math. If that was 6 months of time, imagine what you'd be doing
I would
today.
already.
You'd,
Yeah,
you'd have reached your $1 million goal. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we could do rough math and say about that. So,
be close to it.
very close to it, and anywhere near $1 million, give or take, two to $300,000. I think we're okay.
Yep.
So yeah, man. But your trajectory is awesome, and so I'm just super excited to follow your progress and everything,
Yeah.
and all of that. So super glad to be working with you, man.
Yeah. Likewise.
Yeah. So thanks for letting me do this and have a chat with you and all that. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people will find this interview beneficial. So
Yeah.
much appreciated on my side here. And yeah, we'll do another one when we get to seven figures.
Heck yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Thank you.